Welcome back. Okay, Mustang's off the hoist. I forgot my camera when I was working on it and didn't get any shots, but we saw that I painted the tank. I painted the bottom side to match the black underneath the car. Took it out for a test drive, put some gas in it. Came back, was leaking a little gas. Of course, these are easy to get back to the gas sending unit. Somehow when I put the lock back on, the lock would look, let's see if I got one here. There's one right there, one of the other ones. Oh, hang on, let's get rid of that air compressor. That's annoying. Hang on, it's gonna get loud for a second. So, yeah, everybody's probably seen a gas tank lock. Well, this goes on. The fuel pump sits down in the tank. There's two little eyelets that guide you in to make sure you're in the right spots. Usually have arrows. And then when you put it in, you press down just a little bit and you give it a little turn. Well, that'll kind of hold it. Then this goes on before you put your wiring back on or your fuel line. And then you, right here, you can see this right here, this little tab. So you get it lined up and then you slide it around underneath, over the top of the fuel sending unit and the fuel pump. And on the tank, there's some ridges and it catches on this and forces it down with an O-ring. And apparently when I did, I didn't push it all the way over. And when I came back from putting gas in it, it was dripping gas a little bit. I lifted the rear seat out, pulled the cover back off it, and it was the driver's side tank. So it would have been this one here. And it was leaking just a little bit. Now, all I did was I took it back off. I looked at the O-ring. It looked good. I reinstalled it and tapped it a little bit farther over. Apparently, I didn't have it all the way over because as soon as I did that, or there was a little bit of piece of something on the O-ring, I'm not sure, but it quit leaking. And it was full of gas. So I, of course, filled it right up. Going to see if it's going to have a leak. And we did. But that happens. It even happens to professionals. So, yeah, so the cheapest Mustang on Marketplace, this was back in December last year. November, December. I think it was in December I started this. So let's just go over it kind of quickly what I've done. We'll start at the front. Harmonic balancer. Went through and tightened up all the headlights, brackets, fixed the brackets that were broken. Took all the LED lighting out of it and put regular bulbs back into it. So you're getting all those double flashes and everything. And next thing is we put some tires on it. New front brakes. New rotors, calipers, brake pads. New struts, strut assemblies that came with the springs and the mounts, which would be a bushing. They call it a bushing bearing mount. Rear wheels, same thing. Calipers, brakes, pads, rotors. Fix the backup lights. New Walker exhaust. Intermediate pipe, tailpipe, muffler. Let's see, now a new fuel tank. The air conditioning works good, the heat works good, the cruise works good, it runs awesome. There's 210,000 miles on this. It just flipped this when I was coming up to 210. I have been driving it. It drives really good. I put like 900 miles on it. I will throw a pile more miles at it here before it goes. Be honest with you, I don't mind driving it. It's smooth as any good used car with 50,000 miles on it. So this car will be going down the road, make room for some other projects. I kind of hate it to let it go because it's a lot of fun to drive, actually. The little 4.0 in it's pretty responsive for the weight to motor ratio. The automatic transmission shifts really well. So this is just a base model. And then somebody had added the GT wheels and the rear louvers, the side louvers. I had put a hood off a GT on it and the rear spoiler, or maybe it came with a rear spoiler, I guess. Yep, came with a rear spoiler. And, oh, and the other thing we added in between the taillights, this was a very expensive deal. So I haven't sat down and figured how much I have in this, but I've got to figure it out before I decide how much I'll let it go for. So, but it's I mean, drive it. I just took it down street and put gas in it, came back. The cruise works, everything. The air conditioning is cold, nice and cold. I'm going to check it. I haven't put the gauges on it yet, but I'm going to check it just to make sure. Because it takes like just a little longer than normal to come on. I would say like most of my vehicles start blowing almost immediately. This can take about 2-3 minutes and then it starts blowing. Maybe it's just the way the cycle's set up on it. I don't know. Change the oil, air filter, new air filter, oil filter, fuel filter, and probably, a backup switch, backup light switch. Yeah. Other than that, this puked out pony is now reserviced and ready to run again. I have no doubt this car would give somebody some good miles. You saw that I rebuilt the back half of the frame rails on both sides that had gotten full of salt and snow and everything else and rusted them out. It's just like light tin in there. I refabbed them, put them in, welded them in, seam sealed them, painted them. They look good. The car went down, went on the hoist, went all through an inspection. Nobody had any problem with the inspection. The only thing that I would, when somebody gets this, the quarters on both sides, I've just kind of touched in, but it's going to need, typical where the snow catches in there, it's been patched. And then the rocker. This rocker panel's got some holes in it. The other one has, I think, one hole in it. So somebody would have to put some rockers on it. Or whatever they wanted to do to it. But I would put rockers on it because actually the car runs and drives good. It would warrant somebody else spending a little bit of money on it. So that's the cheapest pony on Marketplace that week that I bought. And it has been a lot of fun to drive and to work on. It is nice to work on rear-wheel drive cars. I'm telling you what. These front sideways motors and everything so tight and can't get in, can't get your hands on anything. You got to remove everything to get to an alternator. Rear-wheel drives are still a lot of fun to work on. Okay, it was quite a project because for that fuel tank, the dry shaft had to come out, all the exhaust had to come off it, the rear seat comes out of it, of course you unhook everything. So this would be not something somebody without a hoist or good jack stands, get it off the air quite a ways would want to do. The bolts on the dry shaft were pretty tight, and I had to use the half-inch impact. I didn't use the air. It took them off okay. I put them back on, retorqued them. I think we're ready to go. I'm going to check the air pressure on this and probably use this for a couple days running around and give it a little love on the road, see how it goes. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for all the good comments. We'll have some more videos on the Jeep. And got to paint some parts. That one's coming up. Some of the equipment's sitting over there at the end of the day. So, all right. Got the top down today on the 03. 80 some degrees here. Might want to put it up, put the air conditioning on. Have a good night. We'll see you soon with a new video.